And when betrayal finally comes, will you be ready? Not all pain screams. Some disguise themselves as normalcy, as polite words, as forced laughter. Some pains hide in heavy silences, in averted gazes, in shared tables with those who will soon stab you in the back. Betrayal never comes from an enemy. It approaches with a familiar scent, with a known voice, with a touch that once was affection. But what defines a man is not the wound he suffers. It's what he does with that wound. True strength isn't in reacting, it's in restraint, in choosing not to become like the one who hurt you, in keeping the spirit clean, even when the world around is covered in filth. And what if I told you that the darkest moment in a holy man's life was also the instant he demonstrated the purest mastery over himself? In this video, you won't hear screams, you'll hear echoes of decisions made in the silence of the heart, echoes of someone who was betrayed and chose not to lose himself. Stay until the end, because this isn't just a story, it's a compass for the days when your soul is in turmoil. It's an invisible armor for when the blows come from where you least expect. And if you're someone who seeks emotional strength without needing to shout, spirituality without dogma, and wisdom that withstands time, then this channel is your refuge. Here, every word is chosen, like forging a sword from the inside out. Today, we'll uncover the Stoic message behind betrayal. Will come. Your reaction will define who you are. In the dim light of a simple hall, illuminated by small flames and the tension of the unspoken, of what is yet to be revealed, a man breaks bread. Around the table are those who have followed him for years. Men with weary eyes, hands marked by time, and hearts heavy with something they can't yet name. At the center of it all, Jesus. Calm, precise, restrained. The scent of wine mixes with the uneasy silence of those who sense something is about to happen, but they don't know what. He does. He knows that among them, there's a gaze that no longer belongs to the group. Judas is there. He speaks, smiles, follows the rituals. But inside him, something has already broken. The decision has been made. The deal sealed. The betrayal already paid for with 30 pieces of silver. And yet, Jesus does not expose, does not accuse, does not despair. He kneels, takes a towel, washes the feet of all, even Judas's. An act of incomprehensible humility, a gesture of absolute inner mastery. There is courage in not reacting, in not stooping to the level of disappointment. He serves the betrayer as if knowing that pain is inevitable, but the loss of dignity is optional. And then, with tenderness, he hands him bread and says, "What you are about to do quickly." No irony, no bitterness, only clarity. He does not try to change fate. He meets it with resolve. The betrayal is already set. Now, what matters is what each will do with it. After the supper, night falls with an almost unbearable weight. Jesus withdraws, goes to the Garden of Gethsemane. He takes 3 of his own with him, but once again, faces the essential alone. He knows what is coming, and even being who he is, he does not hide the pain, does not deny the fear. He kneels. The earth is cold, the wind cuts. And he prays, "Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me." There is no shame in vulnerability. There is courage in exposing what one feels before the inevitable. But then, he completes, "Yet not as I will, but as you will." This phrase is a Stoic testament, the recognition of the universe's order. Surrender not as weak resignation, but as a powerful affirmation that there is a force greater than individual will, and it deserves respect. His body begins to react. Sweat turns to blood. The spirit is ready, but the flesh trembles. He is alone, abandoned, even by those who promise to keep watch. Yet, he does not scream, does not demand, only observes. The world crumbles around him, and he remains centered, as one who knows that true peace does not depend on circumstances, but on inner solidity. Then Judas arrives, leading soldiers and Pharisees. He comes in haste, comes with guilt disguised as courage. He approaches and gives a kiss that wounds more than any sword. Jesus does not recoil, does not scream, does not curse. He only says, "Friend, do you betray the Son of Man with a kiss?" And he calls him friend. How many of us, faced with betrayal, could maintain that kind of serenity? How many of us would resist the temptation to return pain with pain? He does not try to defend himself, does not flee. does not counterattack, because he knows who we are is revealed, not when all is in order, but when everything roars against us. Arrested, he endures trial after trial. The Sanhedrin, Pilate, the crowd, they all want a spectacle. They all want a reaction. He offers none. He remains silent. His silence is not emptiness. It is a silent cry of mastery. He does not justify himself, does not despair. His peace is so solid it unsettles his accusers, as if saying, with his body, what Epictetus would write centuries later, it is not events that disturb us, but our interpretation of them. Christ was mocked, beaten, crowned with thorns, humiliated before all, and yet he did not lose what he was, because true power is not in defeating those who attack you, it's in not allowing them to change you. And before Pilate, who provokes, who insists, who asks, will you not defend yourself? He remains silent, not because he has nothing to say, but because he has already said everything with his actions. His presence is his answer. There, at the peak of injustice, he embodies the purest Stoic principle. You do not control the world, but you can control who you choose to be within it. He chose not to answer evil with evil, chose to keep his integrity, even when everything around him demanded vengeance, rage, or despair. This is the Christ few see, not just the Son of God, but the master of self-awareness, inner discipline, control of passions, and silent wisdom. His cross was real, but his greatness lies not in the suffering, but in not allowing suffering to destroy what was eternal within him. This is true transcendence, not the kind that eliminates pain, but the kind that passes through it without losing the light. And if, in the end, he could say, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do, then it becomes clear that the highest strength is not the one that imposes justice, but the one that offers mercy, even when the world does not deserve it. It's not things that disturb us, but our opinions about them. Epictetus, this simple phrase holds a key to inner freedom. Christ was betrayed by someone close, someone who shared his intimacy, his trust, his table, but he did not become a betrayer. He was wrong-dragged through corrupt courts, condemned without guilt, beaten without cause, but he did not seek revenge. He was condemned not for his mistakes, but for the fears and conveniences of others. But he did not lose his dignity. Why? Because he understood perfectly the principle Epictetus taught. External suffering does not have the power to define us, unless we surrender that power. As Epictetus would say, our greatest freedom lies in how we choose to respond. Christ, faced with chaos, chose steadiness. Faced with betrayal, chose clarity. Faced with pain, chose silence as strength, not as absence. Seneca, another Stoic master, said, difficulty reveals the man, not ease, not applause, not moments of glory. It is in the moment of pressure, of the cross, of the dark garden, that true character is revealed. Christ did not try to avoid the cup. He asked, yes, that it be taken from him, for he was human, but he drank it because he was wise. This is the virtue of endurance, not a proud, stubborn resistance that shuts out the world, but the mature resilience of one who understands their role in the greater order of life. He did not react with anger because he had already mastered himself. He did not argue with Pilate because he knew the truth needs no defense, it simply is. This is what Marcus Aurelius would call acting in accordance with nature, not fighting against pain, not pretending it doesn't exist, but flowing with it, moving through it with composure, with integrity, remaining whole, even when everything around you tries to tear you apart. Stoicism does not teach us to avoid suffering. It teaches us not to lose ourselves in it, to become the kind of person who, faced with injustice, does not shout, "This is unfair," but asks, "What can I learn from this? How can I keep my soul clean, even if they throw me in the mud?" This brings us to one of Epictetus' most powerful lines: the good man is invincible. Invincible not because he does not suffer, but because he refuses to stop being good even when the world is cruel. Invincible because his choices do not depend on circumstances, because his integrity is not negotiable, because his soul is not for sale. Christ bled, he wept, he fell, but never, not for a second, did he stop loving, even with the kiss of betrayal, even with the crown of thorns, even with the nails piercing his flesh. The greatest proof of strength was not enduring the pain, it was resisting the urge to become like those who hurt him. This is the strength that Stoics called arid moral excellence, the steadfastness of being yourself, when the whole world tries to turn you into something else. This is true invincibility, not never falling, but falling, and still remaining upright inside. Christ showed with every gesture what philosophers wrote on scrolls and treatises. He was the living example of applied philosophy, of silent wisdom, of mastery over oneself, and perhaps that is why his words still echo. Because he did not just speak about virtue, he embodied virtue, and that not even time can erase. And you, are you living your own Gethsemane? Maybe it's not a garden in the hills of Jerusalem. Maybe it's your room at night, when everything feels dark inside and out. Maybe it's that moment when everyone expected you to be strong, but you just wanted to collapse. Or that season of life, when it feels like everything is being ripped away without explanation, without comfort, without answers. Do you sense betrayals lurking? People who smile, who hug you, who say they're on your side, but whose souls no longer walk with you. Have you carried the weight of trusting and being disappointed? Or maybe you were the one who betrayed your own principles when fear was louder than faith. Do you feel the silence of God? Those times when you pray, wait, cry out, and all you hear is the echo of your own voice. Does it seem like heaven is closed? Like time stands still? Like justice will never come? Who hurt you and you still haven't forgiven? Maybe it wasn't a loud betrayal, with screams and slamming doors. Maybe it was that neglect, that absence, that word left unspoken, or that look that said, "You're not worth that much." But listen closely. Betrayal may come. The pain may be real, but it never has to define who you are. Christ was betrayed and did not grow bitter. He was judged unfairly, did not seek vengeance. He was abandoned and still chose to love. He did not let what was done to him change what was purest within him. And you can do the same. You can choose calm, even when everything in you wants to scream. You can choose not to retaliate, even when everything around you demands immediate justice. You can choose to walk lighter, even when the world wants you to carry stones in your chest. Is this silence that unsettles you? Your preparation? Is this pain your cup? Remember, Stoicism does not ask you to deny pain, and the Christ of the cross did not hide his agony. Both teach us that pain and virtue can coexist, that there is a kind of growth born only from endurance. You don't have to fight everything. Life is not a constant war. Sometimes true strength is not hitting harder, but remaining whole when everything tries to break you. Sometimes the greatest power is enduring with dignity, without yielding to anger, without losing yourself in the chaos, without abandoning your truth. And that doesn't make you weak. It makes you mature. It makes you wise. It makes you like the one who, even with thorns on his brow, still offered forgiveness with his lips. So I ask you, are you holding on to an old pain, waiting for an explanation that may never come, trying to prove something to people who will never understand you? Let go. You don't always have to win to be right. You won't always find recognition in the crowds. Sometimes your greatest victory is laying your head on the pillow in peace, knowing you did not become like what tried to corrupt you. Virtue, as Marcus Aurelius said, is a fortress, and you build that fortress stone by stone every time you choose to respond with awareness, not impulse, with wisdom, not anger, with purpose, not pride. Breathe. The pain will pass, but what you build within yourself, that remains. And maybe, just maybe, this moment of trial is the perfect stage to reveal your greatness. The wise man does not choose the easiest path. He honors the one given to him. Christ was betrayed, not by strangers, but by someone who shared his table, his plans, his journeys, his prayers, and yet he remained whole. He did not scream. He did not point fingers. He did not react with hatred. He chose silence. He chose the higher path. He chose to be greater than the wound. And maybe that's what you're missing today. You want justice. You want explanations. But what you need is wisdom. The wisdom of one who understands that not every betrayal deserves a response. That not every blow requires a counterattack. That there is glory. Even in pain, you will be tested. Maybe you already are. By judgments, by losses, by cruel words that can never be taken back. But there is a way to walk through the valley and come out stronger, lighter, more whole. And that way is not shouting louder, not proving you're right. It's choosing not to react as the world expects. It's moving forward with your eyes fixed on what truly matters. Because in the end, what will matter is not what was done to you, it's who you chose to be, even when wounded, even when weary, even in silence. If this story touched something deep inside you, if you feel like you're in one of those moments when everything seems to conspire against your peace, then maybe it's time to stop searching for quick answers and start seeking true wisdom. Wisdom that anchors you, that heals you, that sustains you. Here, on this channel, every story is more than just content. It's a reminder, a compass, a silent call to the soul. Consider following along, if it resonates with you, of course, because the journey doesn't have to be lonely, and sometimes a single phrase, a reflection, a story, is all we needed to take the next step with greater awareness. See you in the next video. Stay at peace. And remain steady, like one who carries virtue in silence.